Help! How do I learn to like my evil mother-in-law? I've been married for almost 7 years and there is almost nothing I like about my mother-in-law. I hate that I essentially hate my mother-in-law. Note, I respect her and will do anything for her, but only because she gave birth to someone I love, but it's tough. It all started when we first were getting married. I was originally going to get married on a Friday, but then she requested we get married on a Saturday because it would be easier for everyone to attend. Fair enough, it's not a big deal at all, but then, she told everyone that I always dreamed my wedding would be on a Saturday. I don't know why, but this irked me. I just didn't understand why you need to fib about something so small and tell everyone. That leads me to my first complaint. She tells everything to everyone, and I mean everyone. The bank teller, the cashier at the grocery store, people walking down the street, everything about anything. Note, she isn't being malicious towards me, she tells everyone's business to everyone. Even her own friends have complained she can't keep anything to herself. One time she bought me a straightener because I go to the salon to get my hair straightened for special occasions. The gesture was sweet, I thanked her and took it. Forward to someone's wedding time, I was going to the salon and she asked why I wouldn't just use the straightener she bought me. I honestly told her, my hair tends to be on the dry side and for special occasions I like how the salon makes it look shiny. She just randomly started telling people how I have dry hair at the party and stuff like this has happened countless times over the 7 years I've known her. I'll say something benign in front of her and she will tell everyone. Once again, it's not that she has it in for me, other people have asked her to please not tell anyone, she disregards it and tells everyone. She once spilled the beans about someone's pregnancy before they wanted to announce it, which leads to another problem I have, she gets mad when people don't tell her things. Once her friends didn't tell her that their daughter applied to medical school. They only told her once she got in, and for some reason that angers her. She once said, I tell everyone everything but no one tells me anything. That's so bad, it annoys me that she doesn't understand that some people are private or are potentially saving their own feelings. What if she didn't get in? They don't want everyone to know. My mother-in-law just couldn't wrap her head around it and instead felt betrayed. Another thing that drives me up the wall, the only thing she seems to talk about is other people and I hate that. Listen, if someone has hurt you and you need to vent, I'm all ears. I understand we are human and sometimes we need to let off some steam, but she doesn't do that. She just enjoys complaining and talking about other people. You can't even change the subject because she has no hobbies or other interests. Not movies, books, sports, she isn't into any of that. Her sole hobby is watching local news and talking on the phone all day. Last thing, she is extremely misogynistic unless it regards herself. One time she was backbiting about a woman who was angry that her husband named the baby without her approval. My mother-in-law said, it's the father's right to name a child. But my husband told me when his younger brother was born my mother-in-law chose the name without consulting her husband because she said she gave birth, it's her right. Anytime she hears a sexual assault or rape story she always blames the victim. If a girl dresses nice, she says that girl is clearly full of herself, but if a guy dresses nicely, she always compliments him and says it's so nice that he cares about his appearance. Etc. She isn't like other mother-in-laws where she is out to get me, but if she wasn't my husband's mother, I would despise this woman as a human being. So reading all that, genuinely, how do I learn to like her? You don't learn to like her. She is a bad person, a hypocrite, and if you keep trying she is just going to make your life miserable. You need to gray rock her. Why did you go to the salon? Because I wanted to. Where is person going to school? Don't know, they're thinking about it. What are you and husband doing this weekend? We have plans. Plans with who? Friends. Stop feeding the beast. If she gets upset, her feelings are her problem. What really gets me is so many people are gray rocking her and she doesn't even understand she's the problem. This means she is never ever going to change. She sounds awful, and if you have children, be prepared for her misogyny to trickle through and have a plan to combat it. I am just so used to being straightforward, but it does bite me. I'm going to try and stop feeding her. To be honest, I read this at first and thought she sucked but was harmless, but the stuff about her misogynistic attitude is what set me over the edge. I would be very concerned about a woman like that knowing personal things about me, or snooping into my life. Gray rocking is a very useful tool for all sorts of assholes. She sounds insufferable. It's still not her news to tell. When she gets pissy about the gray rocking, which we know she will, then you can just shrug and be like, I don't give a shit about building love between you and your bank teller. You can't keep info to yourself, so you don't get info. Let us know if that changes and you want back into our lives. This is gonna sound harsh, but she's not happy for them, she doesn't care about them, and she certainly doesn't love them. All she cares about is feeding her ego by knowing everyone else's business and sharing it as if she's the star. It would be best if you gray rock her from now on. Do not share any information that you wouldn't want the immediate world to know. Her main issue is that she has absolutely nothing else to do, talk about, because she has absolutely no life. You hit the nail on the head there. I would only add that maybe she could be encouraged to take up a hobby, or do some volunteer work, or get a part-time job. If she had something else in her own life, maybe she would back off from being in everyone else's business. Within 30 minutes of my mother-in-law visiting a few weeks ago, I knew the date of her last period, that she was going through menopause, her credit score, the interest rate on her mortgage, and some other shit I've forgotten because it was so outrageous. She overshares to the max and gets butthurt people don't want the close relationship with her that she wants with them. You can't make yourself like her, or learn to like her. This is who she is, and it doesn't sound like she's changing. You've said you're respectful and cordial despite your dislike, and that's really the best thing you can do. She sounds insufferable. My advice is to give yourself some grace. You don't have to like her. It's okay. OMG, you just reminded me of my first meeting with my mother-in-law almost 30 years ago. Hubby and I met in a different country, and we were flying back to his home country for the first time. Due to reasons, we were on different flights, and I landed about an hour before he did. Mother-in-law and his family met me at the airport. The first words out of her mouth were, I was so excited to meet you that I couldn't poo, and now I'm constipated. You do not have to like her. Period. Information diet. Just because she'd like to know, doesn't mean she is actually entitled to the information. Look up and practice gray rocking. Sit in front of a mirror and practice saying things like, I don't wish to share that, because I am allowed to have boundaries, I do not need permission, and my favorite, no. It's a complete sentence. Don't be afraid to use it. Avoid her. She is straight toxic. She is so unhappy with herself that she needs others to feel the same. If your husband can't handle that, then oh well. One thing I forgot to mention is that my mother-in-law has a huge yap too. After everything she put me through the past almost 5 years, I learned to keep communication small. Your mother-in-law sounds like my mom. My mom is permanently on low contact and info diet because she cannot keep her big mouth from flapping. She'll likely never change. Don't feel bad for not liking her. Even though she is family, it doesn't mean you have to like her or even talk to her. You owe her nothing.